Statistics by Shin, Takahashi.Trend Pro Company Limited, the Manga Guide to Statistics. I've taken up from the library, Japan Foundation. So I'm reading from the back cover, Statistics with Heart-Pounding Excitement. If you're feeling anxious about statistics or you just need to get a handle on your data, the Manga Guide to Statistics will help you conquer that "I'm no good at math" feeling. This cartoon guide will have you on your way to statistical literacy in no time. And because no mathematics book is complete without them, it has exercises too and answers too, so you can practice what you learn. Follow along as the ever-patient Mr. Yamamoto teaches Rui how to calculate the mean, median and standard deviation of bowling scores, graph ramen noodles prices on a histogram, determine the probability of getting an A on a math test, calculate the Cramer's coefficient to determine how boys and girls prefer to be asked out, learn how standard score is used to adjust test results when teachers grade on a curve. These and other quirky real-world examples make it easy for you to learn what many people find difficult to master. If you want to learn statistics but you feel like your head is going to explode, or if you just need a great refresher, let Mr. Yamamoto and Rui be your guide. So this is the ISBN number, that is 978-1-59327-189-3. So here we go. You can see the table of contents. Pause and see for yourself. Preface reads as this is an introductory book in statistics. The intended readers are those who need to conduct data analysis for research or business, those who do not necessarily need to conduct data analysis now but are interested in getting an idea of what the world of statistics is like, and those who have already acquired general knowledge of statistics and want to learn more. Statistics is one of the areas of mathematics most closely related to everyday life and business. Familiarizing yourself with statistics may come in handy in situations like, say, estimating how many servings of fried noodles you can sell at a food stand you are planning to set up during a school festival, estimating whether you will be able to pass a certification exam. Third, comparing the probability that a sick person will get better between a case in which medicine X is used and a case in which it is not used. This book consists of 7 chapters, basically chapters organized in the following sections: cartoon, text explanation to supplement the cartoon, then you have the exercise and answer, and then you have the summary. You can learn a lot by just reading the cartoon section, but deeper understanding and knowledge will be acquired if you read the other sections as well. I would be very pleased if you start feeling that statistics is fun and useful after reading this book. I would like to thank the staff in the development department of Om Shah Limited who offered me the opportunity to write this book. I would also like to thank Treno Pro Company Limited for making my manuscript into a cartoon. The scenario writer Re_Aquino and the illustrator Iroha Inoue. I hope I'm pronouncing them right. Last but not least, I would like to thank Dr. Shakaru Fumite of the College of Social Relations at Rikyo University. He provided me with invaluable advice while I was preparing the manuscript for this book, writes Shin Takahashi. So this is our prologue, Statistics with Heart-Pounding Excitement. Mr. Takatsu, the owner of the house. Hello, I'm home. This is Mr. Igarashi. He works for me. I asked him to stop by because we were having a drink together near here. The wife comes out and says, "Nice to meet you." "Well, well, welcome to our home, sweet home." That's the daughter peeping through here. And to herself she says, "Wow, he's cool." The father addresses his daughter Rui. "I'm home, Rui. Say hello to Mr. Igarashi. He works for me. Good evening." "Please, use this cushion." She's excited. "Please, take a seat." He says, "Thank you. Would you like a cup of coffee?" So he says, "You have a pretty daughter." And she says, "You flatter me." So Rui asks Igarashi, "Mr. Igarashi, what kind of work do you do?" "Well, as I work for the same company as your father, in short, I do marketing," he says. So he says, to explain it fully, I do market research using statistics. But I guess marketing is an unfamiliar word for a high school girl like you. "Sorry, I have never heard of it," she says. "You are honest. Do you know what statistics is then?" She's wondering. "Maybe you don't know that either. Roughly speaking, statistics is a study that estimates the status of a population by using information gained from samples." Then he asks her, "Did I make it too difficult?" So because she goes, "Oh, incomprehensible." So, okay. Oh, here it's a good example. And the father says, "Rui, are you okay?" So she just can't comprehend. She can't understand. So he picks up the paper and says, in the Chomai Times, "Look at today's paper," he says. So he says that it says that according to a Chomai Times survey, the cabinet approval rating is 39%. "What about it?" she asks. "I have never been contacted by the Chomai Times about the cabinet. How about you, Mr. Takahashi? "No." Father says, "No, not once." So the daughter says, "Neither of you were surveyed, but the cabinet approved rating is in the paper." "That's weird. You two both have the right to vote, don't you?" "That's my point. That's where statistics come in." "How?" "Rui, do you know how many voters there are in Japan?" So this is the map of Japan, roughly, in a manga style, in a comic style. Let me see. "A lot, I know," she says. So Igarashi continues, "Right. You can get the precise cabinet approval rating if you survey every single voter. Yeah? However, it is unrealistic to survey everyone. There are too many people." "Definitely." So they're having, "I quit. There's so many people. This is nonsense. I agree." So he says, "That is why only a limited number of randomly selected voters are surveyed." And Rui says, "Yes. See, Rui, the real group that should be surveyed is called a population. A group made of samples selected from the population is called a sample. Those are statistical terms." So he's introduced two statistical terms which you've already studied. One is population, one is sample. So population is what? In statistics, it's the total number of units that is under study. And sample is from that particular population or total number of units that you've selected. You take out a few, you select a few to study randomly. So two things, as you see, population and sample. "Dad is tormenting me by talking about hard topics." "Wow. Sure, I'm not tormenting you," he says. Igarashi says, "What he's saying is, in the case of the approval rating of the cabinet, the population is all voters. It says that the survey was conducted with 2,000 people. So in this case, the sample is those 2,000 people. So all voters that you're talking about is the population, and the 2000 voters that you have selected randomly are known as voters. So that's 2000 voters are the sample. So she says, Rui says, I see. Now, if possible, I want to examine the population. So they talk about, they take. So he says, if you want to find out which plant is most abundant in this land, and if possible, I want to examine the population. That means the population is about 100 square meters. But that is technically impossible. What am I going to do? So this is 100 square meters. I don't want to do it. This is too difficult. So they want to find out which plant is most abundant in this land of 100 square meters. How can I get an idea of the population status? It does not have to be strictly precise, but it had better to be as accurate as possible. So they are still talking about the entire land, that is 100 square meters. So then he says, I'll examine only 1 square meter. So he just wants to see 1 square meter in which the plant which is really in abundance grows on this land. So he just examines 1 square meter. That's where statistics comes in handy. Please tell me more. Now she's getting interested. Well, maybe next time. And she says, oh, he's so good looking. So the next day, Pitter Pat, she seems to be so taken by Igarashi. Thinking of him makes me feel happy, she says. And she's with her teddy bear. I have to think of a way to get close to Mr. Igarashi. So she's got a crush on the worker that works with her father. Daddy, I want to learn more about statistics. Good for you, says the dad. I've asked Mr. Igarashi, she's just dreaming. I've asked Mr. Igarashi to teach you. Hi, we meet again. All she's just thinking. Understood? Yes, thanks to you. Lovey-dovey, private lesson. She's thinking all of it. And she thinks, okay, it's a perfect plan to ask Dad to ask Mr. Igarashi to come and teach her statistics. So she meets her, she's with the dad. Here you are, Dad. Oh, thank you. Dad, could you hire a statistics tutor for me? She asked. So I can learn more about your job. You interested in my job? I'll have a tutor teach you every Saturday, he says. Thank you, Dad. The tutor could be one of your workers like Mr. Igarashi. You have my word, he says. I'll surely do it. Yes, he's very happy. So Saturday, ding dong, there's a bell. Thanks for coming. Come in. So she's getting dressed. He's here. Rui, your teacher is here, says the father. And she comes running down, coming, and looks at him and absolutely stops short. And he says, hi. And she exclaims, who is this guy? Rui, this is my employee, Mamoru Yamamoto. How do you do? Dad, isn't Mr. Igarashi coming? Igarashi? Mamoru lives closer to our house. He's good at teaching too. And then he says, she's really disappointed. The dad says, study hard. So he says, shall we begin, Rui? This is a nightmare, she says. Mr. Igarashi, I worked hard to master statistics. Now again she's daydreaming. Great. Why don't you work with me? Now she's just thinking. And then she says, Rui, what's... And she's still thinking. And she says, this is not what I had in mind. So she says, I have an idea. I'll use him to study statistics and then approach Mr. Igarashi. Never give up, she says. Let's start right now. He says, oh, okay. Thus the lesson begins. The first lesson is determining data types. I'll do it in the next class.